throw some books out.
Yeah.
Is it customary to open the beer right away?
No, so the way we do it is we'll, here I'll just do, sure. So I basically just start the episode by doing like a quick intro. So I do a quick intro. Actually, I should bring it up just a little bit for me. I'm a little taller. So just do a very, very quick intro.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, hey, welcome to the latest episode. I'm in town for Explode in Minneapolis. Here with Brandon Doyle. Why don't you introduce yourself? Quick, who you are, your team, yada, yada, yada. And then I'll have you introduce the beer since it's local for you.
Okay.
Then we crack them open, pour, cheers, ask you how long you've been in the business.
All right.
See what happens.
And focus on the camera. Or conversational. Should we turn the chairs at all? Am I over-analyzing this?
Yeah. So I used to do every episode where I put like one here and me here and we talked across like this, which is more natural for conversation. Mm-hmm. But I found it doesn't look as good on camera. Okay. So since I switched to like this setup with camera, I mean, there's been a few episodes where we're almost like uncomfortably close to each other. Like,
gotcha.
But I noticed it from like watching a lot of sports playoffs is like how many of the newscasters are like shoulder to shoulder like this when they're on. But I'm like, it actually looks better from the viewer. Okay. So that's why I started doing it this way. But most of the time what happens is like we're kind of like this, talking like this.
Yep.
And then if you're like making a point specifically for people, you kind of turn and you go.
All right.
You know, it's everything. But again, there's no set.
Do you want me to introduce all the beers at once? Or as I open them?
As we open them, I guess.
Okay.
Or like you can introduce one, I'll then say what I'm drinking. If there's anything to like note about Drecker or anything, you can give some color commentary.
All right, I like it. Let's start it up.
If there's ever a question that either you screw up, you want to re-answer, or you'd rather just not talk about a specific topic, we can just cut it. Like there's nothing live. We can just do our thing. All right, good.
I like it.
Welcome to the latest episode of Over a Pint. This week, we're in Minneapolis. We're here for the Explode conference, and I'm really excited to have someone on that I've actually talked to for a while, but never actually had on the show. And we've been doing a couple of these conference series together. So we have Brandon Doyle. So why don't you introduce yourself for those who might not know who you are?
Yeah, my name's Brandon Doyle. I am a team leader here in Minneapolis, Minnesota with Remax Results. And then I am also the co-author of Mindset, Method, and Metrics. Came out in 2016. Last year I released another book, the Real Estate Marketing Playbook. So I've been doing that, speaking a little bit with Explode as well, primarily focusing on growing our team here in the Minneapolis metro area. So,
do they ship to Canada?
Yes, they do. So, and it's available on Audible and Kindle as well. So,
all right, we will put links depending on the platform here, or maybe there or there, depending on which platform you're watching. There will be links somewhere if you want to get copies. He's not paying to be on here. This is just an impromptu. We will put links. So
it's my house, so I figured I'd get a plug in there.
He has welcomed us into his home in Minneapolis. He doesn't even have a deck yet. He's getting married Saturday.
Yeah.
So he's taking time out to drink. It's a tough life. Speaking of, you picked the beers since you know all the local stuff. So what are you drinking?
Gave Andrew a good tour of my basement collection down there. I figured we'd start with a local brewery, Surly, very popular. They've really helped crack open the craft brew scene here with getting liquor laws changed, allowing off sale as well. So they've really opened the door for some of these other breweries. But this is their mosh pit. It's just a hazy IPA. They do like one-offs and stuff. Their main beer they're known for, I guess, would be Furious or the Axeman. Used to be Todd the Axeman. That's really good. And then seasonally they have an Imperial Stout called Darkness that's really good. So if anyone out there wants some and they can trade me Imperial Stouts from other breweries, we can make that happen.
Good barter system on the show.
Right? Same with some of these cans as well.
Yeah, they're unique. So here's one. So this is one from Drecker Brewing. It's called Fluff Buddy, which is a marshmallow double IPA.
Yeah,
I've never heard of marshmallow double IPA.
It's really good. You'll like it. So Drecker is out of the Fargo-Moorhead area. on the border of North Dakota and Minnesota. And they actually distribute here to my city, Maple Grove. There's a liquor store right down the road, and every other Tuesday they have the drop, and I conveniently come by at the right time and pick up their different variants. They've got Junkyard up there too. It's pretty good, but probably one of the best breweries in the area. Those are pretty sought after. They do 4-packs and run like 16 to 18 bucks. And then so just cover real quick. The other two beers I brought up, Pseudo Sioux from Toppling Goliath in Iowa, great IPA. And then from Black Stack, which is in St. Paul, it's a newer brewery. I think they've been open 2 or 3 years now. They make really good stuff. And that's just another IPA. So IPAs are obviously very popular around here.
Yeah. So we will tag those breweries here in case you're interested.
There you go.
We'll get them to see it. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
cheers.
Thanks for having me in your house. It's good. I like that.
Thoughts, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I don't taste any marshmallow.
No, the marshmallow is, yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's more of a branding name.
An adjunct branding.
Well, I haven't had the show. I've had a
Sure.
few really weird ones where you're like, I think the name is just part of the name, and then
Yeah.
they went with it.
We
And
got some of those downstairs too, but I stuck with more of the standard variety here for
yeah,
you.
they're good. Oh, I've had some pretty weird ones, so you could have gone with anything.
Fair enough.
So how long have you actually been in the real estate industry?
Yeah, so I've been selling real estate for 7 years. Prior to that, I went to St. Cloud State. I've got my degree is in real estate. I did commercial appraisal for a short while and kind of transitioned into hotel management and got into sales. And then about a year and a half ago, I finished my master's as well in real estate. So kind of idea is maybe get into development someday. We'll see where life takes me. But right now, very happy growing the team here. It's been working really well.
So is licensing done in Minnesota through like colleges and universities?
No, not at all. It's very
So your
unusual.
degree is separate
Yep.
from...
Yeah, and so most of the people that have the types of degrees I have are either in development or they're like on the commercial side. A lot of city people will have that degree. Very finance-driven coursework. I found it very interesting. So, and it's great for referrals. I've got a lot of friends that are on the commercial real estate side that don't practice residential real estate, and so I can help them with their transactions. And then if they're licensed, obviously I can give them a referral fee.
It works.
So get a good amount of business from that. And then I do all like the networking events. I'm the president of our alumni association. So I'm just in charge of like setting up events, and we do like a scholarship program. And so that's been very rewarding. Actually, 2 of our team members came through this mentor program that they have at St. Cloud State. So
I know you mentioned this year you guys were on pace to do over 100 deals, but early on, how did you grow your business?
yeah, when I started, I think I had a little bit of a leg up. My father has been in the business now 21 years, but he kind of had his own database set up, and so I was trying to think of like how can I supplement that, and so a lot of it was like online type lead generation. Honestly, my first listing I got was just like canvassing neighborhoods with flyers. That worked out pretty well, but yeah, I'd say online has really been where I've kind of found my own, and now we're at a point where like our business is coming from a mixture of both our database and a lot of online efforts. So
I know you literally wrote the book on real estate marketing.
yeah.
So when you're looking at like your online strategy, what would be like, because I know there's a lot of different ways you can go online. Where have you found like what's been your sweet spot online?
Yeah, so we do a mixture of, pay to play. We do some portal leads, we do pay-per-click. But I think my biggest claim to fame and that sets us apart is the organic content that we're doing. So I blog about the different schools, and then I pair that with search results that match that area. So if you want to be in Rush Creek Elementary School, like here are the homes available. And then by neighborhood, and just highlighting local amenities in our community so that when people search, like they're moving here, they can learn more. And it positions us as the local expert, but then it also helps our search ranking. So here in Maple Grove, Minnesota, like they're pretty much like #1 for any related search term. And the calls that we get are the organic calls are just like, hey, come list my house, or I'm moving to the area next month. I need a good agent. What can you tell me about this neighborhood? And even just like highlighting different new construction opportunities, like home we're in right now. This is a new construction development, but a lot of what goes into buying a new construction home you can't really find online. Even the national builders aren't really good about listing their pricing and standard upgrades. And so to be able to explain that in video and then in blog posts and share that on social has really helped us be found.
Yeah. So with the school posts, because when I sold, I did a lot of school posts, and that drove a ton of traffic for me. Mm-hmm. So what are you writing about in terms of the schools?
Yeah, so I think it's important is to drill down to the local level as far as like the elementary school. Anyone can search by district, but being in this elementary school versus another one is totally different. And so highlighting what makes that school special and why people want to be in that neighborhood really helps. And then knowing the boundary line, like, okay, this neighborhood is in this area, and that's why they're getting a price premium over there. And so pairing the results with the page is huge.
Yeah. And are you like interviewing anyone at the school for these posts, or it's all just like information and you can find online?
Yeah, so it's a mixture. I've tried doing some interviews. It's kind of hard to nail down some of these people, but the more organic you can make it, the better, the more personal. Otherwise, a lot of the stuff is just things you can find online. And playing out those keywords, just knowing what people are looking for when they're searching for it. But in general, within our MLS and within like the national portals that are available in our area, there isn't a way to search by MLS or by elementary school. So we have that. We made that ability just using the boundaries and just a simple polygon tool embedded in that page.
So you earlier mentioned you do some portal advertising. Mm-hmm. So in Canada, which is where most of our viewers are, you mentioned the portal, and we actually just got Zillow this year. So we never had Zillow before, and then we don't have any other portals really. Like there's a few, but we Realtor.ca, which is our Realtor.com, obviously. Yep. It's still Realtor.com sold it off. Mm-hmm. It was never sold by our version of NAR, which is Korea.
Congratulations! You should keep it that way.
Well, this is what I'm curious about, your thoughts on Zillow, because they haven't launched Premier Agent yet because they don't have enough traffic, so they couldn't create enough leads. So right now they're just in that process of signing up brokerages, signing up boards to get feeds, and doing all that. And then they're hoping, obviously, once they get enough traffic, they can start doing it. So what are your thoughts as an American agent? Are you using Zillow?
Yeah, so we're Premier Agents and spend about $4,000 a month advertising with Zillow. We've gone through a lot of ups and downs with them. Some say it's like working with the mafia or signing a deal with the devil, and in a lot of ways it really is. They'll change terms on you, they'll jack up prices, and it is what it is. But the reality is, in our market, is they have the eyeballs, and so that's where people are looking for homes. And if you want to be in front of those people, you have to pay to play. And so that's kind of the world we live in. And as far as exposure goes, our sellers, they definitely want to be on Zillow, and they like that we're Premier Agents and the benefits that come along with that. So a couple years back, I'd say our ROI was very good. We were getting 3-4 times return as a team owner. And then as a team in general, the ROI is higher because that includes the buyer's agent payout. Last year, we really struggled with a lot of the changes with the demand-based pricing. They kind of oversold a lot of zip codes, and then they've switched over to this concierge program where it's a warm handoff, which in theory sounds great, but the lead quantity just kind of fell through the floor, and what we were promised, what we got hasn't really been an alignment there. So last year we had lost money on that marketing investment. This year I'm up, but it's I keep telling them it's all a business decision. It's not emotional. I'm going to continue to monitor it, and if it doesn't work, we're going to have to pull our money and put it elsewhere. And so I just keep a very close eye on that and let them know where I stand on these things. Zillow was actually in town yesterday. They're rolling out Zillow offers here in our market. Obviously, agents aren't too thrilled about that. One of the lines they used that I thought was entertaining was that they acknowledge our relationship with our clients and our contracts. And to what that means is that basically they acknowledge the existence of that, and that if we want to get paid, like that would be above and beyond, like what their fee is. So I think there's a little disconnect there, in that these sellers think, oh, okay, this is my net price. Well, if you have an agent, then they would expect to tack that on, which I just don't feel is realistic. So yeah.
So it's been interesting.
Yeah, in summary, it's interesting. So kind of a love-hate situation there, but they're a player, and so we need to acknowledge their existence, and you can either, work with them, or these agents that think they can just put their head in the sand and pretend that they don't exist, it's not really realistic. Yeah. So even if you're not going to be on the website and you're not going to pay or anything, like you still need to be knowledgeable of what they're doing in your market and be able to kind of speak to the Zestimate and speak to what's going on with the offer program and explain that they are designed to sell leads, and now they are a broker, even though they've said for years that they never would be. Surprise.
So one that was interesting to me, so people don't know the concierge program. So before they would just generate leads, flip you over the leads.
Yep.
Then the concierge came in and they were picking up, calling the leads, and if that person wanted to be connected to an agent.
Correct.
And is this what your experience was? Because as soon as they announced it, before I heard any feedback, I was surprised only from the sense that you had all these agents paying $4,000 a month or more. I know some agents were paying 20. Is they would have all had systems built to respond to these leads, which are now useless. Is that what happened with you guys, why it didn't work so well, or is it just straight lead volume?
Yeah, so I think that we, as a team, are better at converting the leads than their ISAs are. They're not in our market. They don't have access to the same data that we have. And so we're just kind of adding another kink there. For the right people, though, it makes sense that if you don't have the systems in place to respond to leads quickly, I can see on a consumer standpoint where the experience may be better now with the concierge in the middle. And as Zillow, as an advertiser, I think that allows them to have more control over the process. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. It's just the adjustment period has been difficult, and then how do they price that? I think we were kind of overpromised a lot of things, and then very much underdelivered. And they will admit that, but then they don't, compensate us for. It's well, wait a minute. I've been a premier agent for all these years. I think at the peak I was spending $10,000, and it's well, okay, you're fixing it now, but how do we go back and make this right? You promised me this, and that's not what I got. And so that's been frustrating. But again, just don't put all your eggs in one basket. Overall, Zillow only accounts for 5% of our business. So worst case, if tomorrow they said, oh, you're done, we're not doing this anymore, what Realtor.com did in our market, we would be just fine. So
I find it interesting. So Zillow accounts for 5% of your business, but what percent of your marketing spend is it?
Pretty substantial. I would say almost half. Yeah. So with the way I look at marketing in general is that as long as I'm getting a positive ROI, I'm going to keep putting money into it. I say dumping. And with some of our other efforts, we definitely hit the plateau. Sphere of influence, I can only do so many events. I can only mail, so many newsletters, emails. There's not really anything I can do to extract more business out of my sphere. So it would just be watering it down at this point. So we do quarterly events, and that works very well for us. So we do a monthly newsletter. We do both physical and email, and then quarterly phone calls, that type of thing. Try to get in front of people, and that works great. But if I had an even more grand event, it's not going to yield more referrals. It's going to be the same. I just spent more. I can't really pull that lever any further. And then as far as pay-per-click goes, I can dump more money into Facebook leads and into pay-per-click leads. And, I can drive my cost per lead down, $10 a lead. And that's great. But now I run into a capacity issue with manpower to convert these leads. Our team is only so large. And so you can only make so many phone calls. So we're kind of limited there. And so the portal is a good opportunity in that they're closer to the sale. so that makes it a little bit easier. But I would say we're kind of moving money away from there and then more into our website, doing more of the aerial videos and the articles. They just have a much longer shelf life. Harder to gauge the ROI just because it's a long return period.
It's a long
but
play.
19% of our business does come from people that did find us online organically. So whether that's our website or just like having a complete profile on like Google, Facebook, Yelp, that type of thing, that drives a lot of business. And we're tracking it. We're using call action. So we have call recording, call broadcasting. So I know like what site they were on, and I can block people that are spamming us. It's like trying to sell us something. I see that they found us on Yelp. Just block the number.
Yelp's a pain in my butt right now. So back in the day, like when I sold, I was with Remax. And so I set up a Yelp profile. It was like Andrew Foliato-Remax, my number on it. I actually still have the same cell phone number.
Yes.
So Androids, if they don't have your number saved in their phone, they actually pull your Yelp.
Oh.
So if I call someone now who has an Android, it says Andrew Foliato-Remax as the call display, and Yelp won't take down a business profile.
That's interesting.
So now if I call in who's Android, I'll get like some people like, do you sell? I'll be like, no, why do you ask? They're like, well, you came up as Remax. I'm like,
That's too bad.
Yeah, so like I've been like back and forth trying to, there's been no back. It's all been me putting to Yelp.
Interesting.
But can't get them to take it down.
Maybe if you change the phone number or the name.
Tried that. Did not work.
All right, so I have a good Yelp story. We signed up for Yelp because they had changed like some of their terms or whatever, how the advertising worked, and it was like pay per click or call or whatever it was. Well, we had a baseline of what we were receiving in impressions or clicks or whatever, and then they said, okay, well, it's going to be $10 per whatever, and I was like, okay, cool. What they didn't say is now they started charging for the organic version, so like it went up, but I didn't pay just the difference. I paid for the whole amount. It was like, oh yeah, you got 200 page views or clicks, whatever the metric they were going off of. I was like, well, before I was getting 80 and not paying anything, so what's going on here? And most of it I found out was people trying to sell me something. So it's like, shit, now I'm paying. And then when I stopped advertising on Yelp, magically a bunch of my Yelp reviews disappeared. I was like, oh, gee, I wonder how that happened.
Great. Yeah, I've always heard bad things about Yelp. The only good thing that came out of Yelp for me, and this was more a vanity thing than anything business related, was I was the only agent in my town who set up a Yelp profile. So if you ask Siri who the best real estate agent in my town is, I would come up every time. 0 reviews, but I was the only one. So there's screenshots of me asking Siri who's the best real estate agent in Aurora, and it was me every time.
They used to
win by default.
Yeah, we have very few reviews, and that was my stick for a while on stage. I would say, hey, ask Siri. My goal is that like any way you possibly search for agent in Maple Grove, you would lead to us, and so that's why we advertise on the different platforms, just so we're maximizing our opportunity. But that was one of the fun tricks, and now other people have caught on, and overall I'd say less people are actually searching that way, so the impact isn't as good.
Like speaking of like the changing text like Yelp with like Siri, QR codes are kind of coming back. So not huge. So for like, because you speak at conferences too, we're testing it out now. So we're testing, because like we for a long time did like the text code. So it's like text slides to this phone number. And then it responds asking for their email, and it goes through that. But we always lose a certain percentage of agents who just can't figure out the text line, which
it's very difficult, right?
Yeah, it happens. So now we switched, and I bought the domain downloadtheslides.com.
Oh yeah.
So, but now what we're doing is we're split testing downloadtheslides.com, or point your camera at the screen and there's a giant QR code to go to the same landing page. And because now if you open up your phone and just point it with the camera, you know, the download.
Enough,
it just pulls it, detects it, pops up the page right away. So it's like, it's easy.
At conferences in particular, I'd say agents, for whatever reason, just love taking pictures of the slides and
so
things.
now
Like,
taking advantage
even if you
of
tell them, like, hey, we're going to give you the handouts at the end, you still people take pictures. Like, oh, okay,
so
whatever.
An interesting tip I got from this woman, Amanda Robinson, is conferences is to switch your phone screen to a QR code. So instead of carrying business cards, you can be like, oh, just pull your camera and point it at my screen.
Cool.
And then it flips over the contact information. So
that's smart.
That's one that I haven't set it up for tomorrow, but I'm thinking maybe tonight if I have time.
So
set that up.
We own the domains like tourhome1.com, tourhome2 through like 9. I think I might have lost one of them due to bad weather. But anyways, I own the domains, I have the riders. Yeah. And so we were putting those on our listing, and it would route to like the 362 or a single page, a single property landing page. And that was working great. Recently I switched to call action with the text number, text 360 to this number, just for the lead capture portion of it. But that holds true. Like owning those domains is nice, and then making it generic so I don't have to use, don't have to get like 123 Main Street every time. I'm just ready to go, swap it out, change it. So I still have those. I still use those occasionally, but mostly I'm using the call action number, and that's always nice because if they text it, they're right in front of the sign at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I have it set up so text 360, and then it's asked what the house number is. That way I can use the same sign for all of them. I actually just Jesse was the one that mentioned it. I was like, oh, that's actually really smart. And then you can drip other things to them, like a disclosure, or hey, do you want to book a showing? And if you do, then like you can link to like your Calendly and pick a time that you're available and make it automatic.
Do you use Calendly with clients?
Yep.
And do you find that it works well?
Yeah, people love it. They're usually like really impressed. Like, how did you do that? But my schedule is just crazy, and I don't have any time for this nonsense back and forth. Like,
Calendly is one of the best things that happened to my time management. So if you don't know what Calendly is, basically it integrates with your Google Calendar, and it'll look at when you're free, when you're busy, and if you send someone your Calendly link, it just lets them pick anytime. So actually, if you want to just check it out, go to bookandrew.ca, and that redirects to my Calendly page, and you can just see how that works. Which also leads to my other tip. Get easy domains that you can just tell people. Like,
mine's a bit
my
too
name
long.
doesn't work. Like, andrewfoliato.com is a terrible domain name because no one can spell my last name. So every now and then, like, from an SEO perspective, domains have very little value.
Yeah, they used to, but now they don't. So
because everyone just started buying them. But now where I find the value is when you can just say it. So like bookandrew.ca, if I say that from stage, you're going to remember. But calendly.com/andrewfoliato, people don't remember.
It's very smart. And shorter is better.
Yeah.
Ours is DoyleRealEstateTeam.com, which is too long, and people like they can't figure it out. Real estate? God damn it.
And there's no way you're getting to Doyle.com.
No, I've been trying to get like BrandonDoyle.com, DoyleTeam.com. Apparently there's a Doyle team in Canada now. That's the message the other day, and I was like, what the hell? And then I did a little searching. I was like, oh, you're looking for the Doyle team in Canada. Yeah, we're in Minnesota.
You're close-ish to Canada,
The other one is in Alabama, so I get leads a lot for that. It's kind of annoying. People are like, calling about the trailer. I'm like, what? Sell trailers around here. Like, are you looking for Alabama? That's a different Doyle team. Also with Remax. So
do you schedule posts?
So on Facebook I do. We did all these neighborhood posts, and I was putting the videos on YouTube and then on embedding them on our website. Well, then I figured, let's get some more use out of these. So I started scheduling them on Facebook because they get a lot of engagement. And then, I'll be gone next week for our honeymoon, so I just schedule some posts while I'm gone to make it look like we got things going on. Exactly. And people are honestly none the wiser. And then within groups that I'm a part of, so I'm the admin for the Lab Coat Agents Book Club, and so I'll read the book ahead of time, I'll make my notes, and then kind of throughout the month I'll have the posts go out in advance and say, oh, page 72, like I really like this quote. And then for the people that are reading along at the normal pace or whatever, they'll be like, oh, wow, that's great insight. But in reality, I usually read the books a month or two ahead of time and make my notes. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to stay on top of discussion. And as the admin, I feel it's my job to keep the discussion going. So I've been using that trick. And
so have your books been featured in the Lab Code Agent Book Club?
So someone nominated Mindset, Method, and Metrics, but it has not been selected yet. The way we have it set up now is that it's a democracy, and so every month we nominate books and we vote on the books for 2 weeks.
Are they all real estate specific?
Yeah, the focus. Well, I guess any book could be nominated, but the books that have been nominated recently have been more real estate specific. The last 2 years, the admins had picked the books in advance, and they kind of, by the time the book came out, or like it was that book's month, like sometimes they weren't as popular. I think with this voting method, we're kind of capturing trends like, oh, this book just came out, it's getting a lot of buzz, let's read it at the same time. Or, so like last month was Rehumanize. That was
I
good.
haven't read it, but I've heard it's good.
Yeah,
Plus, I just like Ethan and Steve, so.
Actually, that's this month. Last month was Listing Boss, Haas Pratt, so that was really good. And then before that was Ninja Selling, I think. And then next month it'll either be Zvi Band's new book, otherwise the Club Wealth book. I think they're like tied right now, so we'll see.
Yeah, see who wins.
That'll probably end up being like July and August. But those two are thicker books, so we're going to probably need a little bit of time. I haven't been able to read through them yet.
So for you, because so you're an agent here in Minnesota, and you sell your books, but even because we were talking about this before, you don't have a coaching program that comes, most people who write books are selling something after the book.
Yep.
So for you, when you're looking at okay, you're spending all this time managing the book club, what's kind of the reason behind it, since you don't really have a money maker that goes with it?
Yeah, so for me, it's just a passion. Before I ever wrote the books, I've been reading regularly, and so just being able to discuss that with people, and I think it's a great way to learn. For $20, you can basically boil down someone's life and learn from their mistakes, and if you find 1 or 2 good nuggets, then it's certainly worthwhile. I mean, there's a lot of overlap across books, and some books end up being vanity projects, but whatever, you can get through it. It's not the end of the world. And a lot of times I listen to books just in the car. I don't work outside, otherwise I'd stay in the gym, but or on the plane, and so instead of just listening to music, I enjoy reading the books. And so even with writing the book, it was mostly a research thing, and so learning about the process, interviewing other people, so it's not just my opinion in the book, it's what I've learned on the road, and that's helped a lot. So, but yeah, there's no money in books. The first one, I think I spent $20,000 developing it, and I recouped the money eventually, but with the amount of time and effort that went into it, certainly not getting rich over here. I'm not Gary Vee. I'm not Ryan Holiday or any of these guys. I'm not quitting my day job anytime soon.
Not yet.
Keep selling selling houses, but. No, the books are cool. At this point, it's kind of they're both bestsellers on Amazon, so kind of getting some passive income on these, which is nice. I understand that their shelf life is probably 5 years before things change drastically and have to do an updated edition or something, but it kind of keeps it fresh. I've got another book in the works that'll probably come out towards the end of the year, but that's for beyond just real estate. It's for small businesses and just focusing on different marketing methods, how we measure that, optimize.
You go to a lot of conferences.
Yeah.
How many
Too many.
How many do you go to that you aren't speaking at?
Oh.
Comparatively, if you're looking
Fair
at
enough.
speaking versus non-speaking.
Yeah. Almost none now. Honestly, with my engagement in just the groups and people I've met over the years that I communicate with online and offline, I really get a lot of that bucket filled, if you will. So now when I look at conferences, it's either I need a consulting contract where it makes sense for me to go, or I need a speaking engagement where I can sell books to justify my costs.
Yeah.
For a while, I was going to different events, and it's a lot of the same content. Pick up a few things here and there, but kind of hard to justify the time away from the business and the overall cost. But I was just going for I want to go to Florida. That sounds fun. Now what I found is that you go to Florida and you're in a conference center, so you see the airport, the hotel, and maybe one nice dinner. So it's not really fair to be away from The dog.
That was my first trip to Minneapolis. I saw the airport, a business center, and a cheesecake factory.
Hey, the cheesecake
factory. And the airport
again.
That was actually my first cheesecake factory because we didn't have any in Canada then.
Yeah. You should try to do something more fun while you're here. That's
the hope.
Other than just the mall.
The cheesecake. Well, so tomorrow night is Game 6 of the Raptors series. So, yeah, I'm going to be either in my hotel room or in a bar.
Well, so
watching it with no one else who cares.
Well, across the street is where all the bars are, bars and restaurants. So when I picked the conference location, I purposely picked a good spot that would be good for the speakers coming in, and also centrally located for all the attendees, so that easy with free parking. I think free parking is huge to get agents because they're cheap and they don't like traffic and they get overwhelmed.
I do my own conference in July, so I get it.
yes. So it should be good.
It's good. And then in the same vein of like we were talking before, like you do a lot of speaking, you do a lot of like book sales, not really a moneymaker, but you also do in like the book club, and you're in groups a lot. Like what do you find the value, and I'm assuming we're talking specifically about Facebook groups.
Yep.
What do you find the value of, one, being just in these real estate Facebook groups, and then two, being the admin of some?
Yeah, so benefit of being a member, just engagement. I mean, you get out of it what you put in, obviously. So first, use the search bar because
what's your favorite CRM?
Yeah, exactly. Should I sign up for XYZ vendor? Like, oh my god, for everyone that like negative people that are out there, I could find someone else that had a good experience. So it's all what you put into it. And so a lot of irrelevant people on there, but and a lot of people as well that are contributing that are not selling real estate. So it's like, should you really listen to that person? Are they an expert? Mm-hmm. But some of the groups I'm in, I guess you kind of identify some people that are influencers or consistently contributing, and those are the type of people I listen to, trying to pick up on trends. So I find that to be worthwhile when not in conferences. But even just becoming friends with them on social media, and then kind of looking at what they're doing and masterminding, if you will, about what's going on in the industry. What are they seeing in their markets? I think that's very helpful. You can save a lot of money as opposed to like subscribing to a coaching program where you follow this person's program. I get a lot of those same benefits without that same cost, but if you're not actively participating, you're not going to get the value out of it. So,
do you have a coach?
Well, not currently. I did. Bradley and Chris Waters down in Austin area, I believe is where they're out of. They wrote the Millionaire Real Estate Team book. It's really good.
Separate from the Gary Keller Millionaire Agent?
Yeah. So
similar names.
Yeah. Really good book. And I had reached out to Chris to follow up on some of the stuff he wrote about radio, because I don't do radio, so I had some questions there, and we hit it off. And I said, if you're ever anything I can do to support you, let me know. And he mentioned he's doing this mastermind thing. He's trying to start off, and so I joined a small group with them. It was like a 90-day course thing, and that just wrapped up last week. And I thought it was very valuable to listen to what he did when he was he calls it the awkward teenager stage, which is like the 100 transaction range as a team, and kind of talking through some of those growth issues, because what I would think of scaling, I just double my spend, I can double my income, it is not true at all. You can definitely run into staffing issues, and recruiting becomes a real problem, and kind of building your culture and that type of thing. And so that's been that was really rewarding. And then one of the things he talked about is your ambassador program, which is getting vendors to help chip in offset costs for events and for marketing. I thought that was pretty interesting how they're doing that. So implementing that, I would say he's been a good mentor for me lately. But other than that, no, not participating in any formal coaching where it's subscription based or anything. I had looked at Club Wealth pretty close, and I really like what the guys are doing over there. I like that you can be a coach, and you're only coached by people that are actively selling more than you, and it goes by tiers, and it's all very appealing, and that you could make money back by coaching people that are under you. I forget what tier I would qualify for, but it was pretty attractive, and they're pretty prominent in our area.
Yeah.
There's a couple brokers that are like really high up in their program, and so considered that. In the end, I just didn't really feel like it was the right fit for me right now. Like, I thought the stuff that was being shared was very valuable, but I kind of felt like I was getting a lot of that information already and had already implemented a lot of what they were doing. So, not to say that I wouldn't do it in the future, but at the time it just didn't seem like a good fit. So
how much do you look outside of the industry for stuff, like for information and inspiration and all that?
Yeah, I would say mostly looking at books, or like reading books and kind of following other influencers, and kind of with a focus on the consumer experience. So like what's going on in the tech world, what's going on in the marketing world, what's how are things changing there. I really want to get to like MozCon or like South by Southwest, one of these big conferences, just to get exposure to others beyond just our industry. I think that would be a really good move for me next. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet.
One that you would probably like is, I haven't been, but I know someone who does like the blogging SEO a lot. Would be PubCon.
Yep.
Have you done that?
I have not. That was one of the ones I've looked at.
Yeah. So
a lot of authors do that as well.
It was actually the second episode we ever filmed. It was with Melanie Pichet, who's the Brell team.
Okay.
I don't know if you know them. They're in Toronto. Okay. So like their entire business, well, not entire now. Now they do a lot of repeat referral as well. But a lot of it's built on blogging and SEO. And like she says, PubCon is like the biggest thing for like taking you from like good at SEO to like you're a pro. Like she's like, people from like TripAdvisor are there.
Okay.
So it's like the real, like, so yeah, you should look at that, and actually you should look up the Brell team. Like that might be one for a lot of good information. They're awesome.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really like Inman. Obviously, that's kind of where I got my start in the conference scene. Honestly, I was nominated as an innovator, and then that kind of got me the exposure. I went out to San Francisco. I was really impressed with what was all going on there. Mostly networking outside of the conference itself. Like the stuff on stage was great. Loved the speakers, but the most value I got was with the connections outside of that. A lot of people I call close friends to this day. I mean, this book started from that. Just the idea of the book, and then moving forward with it. Now I'm kind of at the point where like the content during the conference, as a speaker, I wouldn't say I'm learning as much as I was before, just because of on daily reading the emails and reading the articles and kind of staying on top of that. So I'm not learning as much from the on stage. So it's more about like maintaining those relationships and still worthwhile. I know they're ratcheting the price up, and they've moved San Francisco to Vegas, and I'm not a big Vegas fan, but
price down though Vegas.
You would think, but
well, at least the travel costs.
Yeah, travel costs for sure.
I've actually that's the interesting thing. So I obviously go to a ton of conferences, speak at a ton. I've yet to even attend or speak at a conference in Vegas. It's like the one place I've never done anything in.
Yeah, I spoke in Vegas a couple years back, and I had like a morning session, and it was like the day after some party thing, and there was like 4 people in the audience. I was like, oh, great.
Yeah.
I mean, I got paid, so whatever, but like, I think we were talking about like PR. And it was
that's my biggest issue with like Vegas, as an example, as the conference, is people aren't going for the conference.
Yeah.
They're going for Vegas to be able to write it off because there's a conference there.
Exactly.
Whereas like one thing I love about like Inman in the past, like we'll see, maybe Vegas will be different than what I'm thinking, but like everybody hangs out at the lobby bars at San Francisco and New York, and that's what I find the value.
Yeah.
Like, being able to talk to people, like there's a decent argument to be made that you don't go to sessions, you just hang out in the lobby.
Yeah.
But I feel like with Vegas, even if you lobby it, there's still 15 different lobby bars.
Yeah.
Plus everyone's going to scatter to everything.
Yeah.
I like the like enclosed, like I do a conference which is in like a resort town, so like everyone has to, they're stuck.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you do them in downtown, like Toronto as an example, everybody scatters as soon as it's done.
I definitely like the more intimate settings where you get more one-on-one time with different people. Yeah. New York, I would say, is probably one of my favorites right now. Used to be San Francisco, but
Yeah.
rest in peace.
No more.
Yeah. But like NAR, when it was, depending on where it's at, can be great. But when it was
in
in
San Fran this
Chicago,
year.
also there we
you
go.
might go back. There's
Could
your
be an
San Fran
opportunity.
conference.
When it was in Chicago, all the meetings were so spread out. It's like, oh, I'm in this hotel, and then I'm on the other side of town, and so you lose
Yeah.
that lobby experience and that togetherness.
Because that's the part that I find, like, I've gotten, not even just like straight business, which I've gotten a lot out of lobby conning, is just like relationships and people you meet at the lobby is so much more meaningful than a conference.
Yeah.
Than like the sessions.
And I would say like follow the groups online and see where people are going, and just like tag along. Honestly, just follow the crowd. They're very easy to identify. They are loud and obnoxious, and just like, hey, look, there's the cool kid group, and follow them.
This is an unusual one, but it's good. 7.3%.
Oh yeah, the beers I drink are all of the higher scale.
Yeah, you're almost
That
drinking
might
like
be
a
one
Canadian.
of the lowest ones. Yeah.
But
have you ever heard of Natter Days?
no.
It's natty ice mixed with strawberry lemonade, and it sounds like it'd be terrible, but it's delicious. You can get 30 of them for $15 US here. It's
I don't
just
know if we have
good
it in
bang
Canada,
for
but-
your buck. So I go like, I'm in a beer group, and we drink very, very expensive beers. Like
Yeah.
$300 bottles is like normal for us. And what we find is that instead of rinsing with water now, everyone's rinsing with Natter Days, because the strawberry lemonade gets the glass nice and clean, and it refreshes your palate in between.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you're
And
not
it's at
like
that's at
like a
5,
spit
6%.
bucket next to you.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't waste the beer.
So have you done like I'm trying to remember the name, but it's like the one where you go to like the place in like Belgium, and it's like they hand make each batch, and it's super expensive per bottle. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Yeah. So my buddy
You know
got
what
a
I'm
whole.
talking about.
Yeah. I know something with 13 or something. I can't remember the exact name, but my friend had a ton of it, and he got like a case through a trade. I think he actually traded like car parts to it. This guy was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I have these Westies," and he's like, "What?" And he went and looked. It was like the crate, so he got the whole crate and everything. But we did the beer share. We opened one of them. We were like, "Yeah, that was really good, but not that much money good. Let's sell those." And so we ended up like trading them for different beers.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I like the beer group too, because like I buy a $20 bottle or a $200 bottle, and then someone else does the same, and then we all share, as opposed to like me just opening a $50 bottle and a big bomber and getting drunk at home or something. So
Yeah,
it's like
getting
a
lit up
special
on a $200
occasion.
bottle.
Yeah.
When we run ads, because like in Canada, because you can't target by income, net worth, likely to move, any of that
Yep.
stuff, we've had to get creative with it. And we've actually found the most effective targeting is basically no targeting.
Yeah. Well,
So we just go area and age,
Yep.
and then exclude agents. So
Oh, yeah.
thankfully, agents aren't a protected class because we exclude them on every
Yeah.
ad. The only time we ever include agents is when it's a team that's recruiting that wants agents to also see that they're running ads. So it's like
that makes sense.
yeah, it's more of a branding to
Yeah.
the agent, so you can come here and get these leads you're seeing the ads generate.
Smart.
But that's the only time we really see it, because it's an interesting one. But yeah, we generally try like our preferred targets are retargeting. Obviously, is number one. Like anytime if they have a group big enough to retarget, that's what we're going for. Then lookalike audiences. So if we can do lookalike audiences, that's number 2. And then number 3 is age, location, and excluding agents. And then from there, that's about it. Because like anytime you start getting like narrower, we find like cost per lead shoots up,
Yeah.
and it's not worth it at that point, comparatively.
So like right now, the only Facebook advertising we're doing is just retargeting. So based on people that have engaged with our
So what kind of
emails
like how in
and-
depth is your retargeting? Out of curiosity, like what do you do?
Not very at all. So it's they visit our website recently, they're engaged with our newsletter, and that's about it.
So because like one that I feel like would make a lot of sense for you, or you're talking about like the school one.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not retarget anyone looking at that school one with ads for looking for houses in that school district?
Yeah.
The same way you put the posts on.
So if I had more time, honestly, I would probably go in and like you said, just basically like what Amazon does. Like if someone landed
Yeah.
on one XYZ page, like this neighborhood, obviously they're interested in that and retarget based on that, and
Yeah.
maybe make a dynamic set of all these different ads. And the majority of the time, most of the ads aren't actually going to be running because there's not going to be a large enough audience.
Yeah.
But when there is, hit them back up. But to be honest, we just use AdRoll, and it's just the generic banner ad. But I get people that screenshot it and send it to me. They're like, I see you everywhere. Like, how much are you spending on ads? And because I see it on like CNN and stuff. And the reality is it's very little. Like,
yeah, I said my brother-in-law did that to me. My brother is not in the industry, but because my brother-in-law like follows our page and engages with it, and it was a joking pissed off message, but he was playing Word with Friends.
Yeah,
and there it's like, do you play Words with Friends? So like
not in the recent years.
So there's this thing where you can like activate this power up, but you have to watch a 30-second ad to do it. So he had to watch me like at the camera going and like being animated. But obviously he's not an agent, so he couldn't buy it. But it was only to retargeting.
It's funny.
So she's screenshotting these pictures of like, get the hell off my Words with Friends.
Yeah. So like when we launched our first book, I did that a lot. I targeted. So we got a testimonial here from Tom Ferry and a testimonial on the back from Lee Brown. And so I targeted
awesome people. Those are good testimonials.
So what I did was I targeted agents traveling. And I just targeted their conferences that they spoke at.
Yeah.
And I used their testimonial as the ad. I said, because I knew that the people traveled to go to the Tom Ferry event. They liked Tom Ferry on Facebook. And so I was like, well, these are really, really good people to target. And that worked out really well for me. I stopped doing it. I was finding that like it just wasn't worth the money to keep going, to be honest.
What I found works for conferences is I go and stand in the conference center, and then I'll take a photo in the conference center, then run it to the conference center.
Makes sense.
And then the other one that's worked for us is, so I've seen Gary Vee speak at a couple different real estate conferences.
Yep.
But at every real estate conference he speaks at, he talks about if you're not running Facebook ads as a real estate agent, you're an idiot.
Yep.
So I now, anytime he goes and speaks at a real estate conference, blast it with need help with your Facebook ads.
Oh, that's smart.
I'm the guy. And that's where we've had generally pretty good success. But like at NAR, I did it. And I spoke on the third day at NAR. The first day I stood in front of the conference center with like a photo of me and the conference center being like, come to my session on how to do Facebook ads. And in our track, we were the only session that sold out.
Oh, wow.
So it ended up working out pretty well, but it was like entirely like, but it's standing in the conference. Yeah. The other one that's good, do you have anyone on your team that can do Facebook ads? Or is it just you that does them?
I mean, it's just me. I should probably just outsource this stuff, to be honest.
So what can work is if you're on stage, get on stage, do a selfie with the crowd, and then while you're still on stage, flip it to someone on your team, and then have them target it. So by the time you get off stage, there's an ad running of that photo of you on stage to people at the event. And we've actually gotten pretty good response to that too. But that you need someone to go and do that for you.
There's a lot of like next level tactics that could be done. Like, again, like just going to events is mostly for networking and learning. Might break even on books and make a couple bucks, but I'm not selling coaching or anything, so I haven't like pushed it too much. But I've had people in the industry tell me like, you're gonna start this coaching thing. You'll do like the $500 program, and then you'll from there sell them into coaching. But honestly, like
goals, right? Like,
so like my passion is just like I actually like working with clients. So like I still am producing. I'd like to grow the team a little further and maybe become less of the producer on the team at some point, but like right now I still enjoy selling. And so
I would like from this side for you, because like you don't do coaching, I would still build a big list, but then I would just do like JV deals and let other people work your list, but only people, obviously it has to be people you trust and do good work. But that's where your money would make sense. So
the original idea with the playbook too was to take so each chapter is divided out to like a different marketing method, and it has best practices and examples. And so I wanted to get as many guest authors in as possible, and then the idea was to plug them at the end of the chapter and kind of create a referral relationship, their affiliate system. But very hard to get people to contribute to any project
Yeah.
that you do. So
Yeah.
I just ended up, publishing it. But it's print on demand, so I can kind of make some changes as I go. So I've had a few people interested.
Take this book just as a random example. So it is almost 170 pages.
Yep.
How long did it take you to do?
So, not a good example because this particular project, I was working. Well, so I had the first book came out, and then I had content left over.
Yeah.
Well, then I started creating additional content to promote this book, which then, so like a lot of what's in here is like spin-offs of articles I've written for like Inman or Realtor Magazine, and then, I tweaked it obviously, and then filled in the missing pieces. But so like a lot of this is just side content. The book that's coming out next, which right now the working title is Success Rate. We'll see what the end title ends up being. It never is the same. So
what's the off topic, or not even really off topic? What's the point of the book for Success Rate?
For Success Rate, so the idea would be very similar to these two, but with a focus on measuring your marketing efficiency for small businesses. And so walking through each marketing method and kind of identifying what the best practices are. How do we measure that? How do you go from the top of the funnel to the bottom of the funnel, optimizing each step along the way, and then the overall impact on your ROI. And I think what happens a lot of the times is there's just one little thing wrong somewhere in the process, and people don't quite get it. So similar to conversion code, except for with more broad focus, and also kind of looking at things that we can do that are free. Don't cost a lot of money. It's like profiles and just beyond just digital marketing. So traditional marketing is included as well. I think
This has a lot of traditional marketing in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Because I haven't read the whole thing, but I've read bits of it.
So I would say that there's a lot of business owners that are good at their trade, but aren't good at marketing themselves. And with just a little bit of changes, they could become the best of their business. And real estate is super competitive. So to win in pay-per-click or organic, getting found online, we have so many competitors. But these other industries, if you're a car dealer or a mechanic or you do HVAC, any sort of trade, there's a way less competition. And honestly, there's companies that are just really bad at what they're doing. And
but I find real estate, it's only truly competitive online in major areas.
Yeah. If I was in some small town,
it's not. We've had clients in, but I'm talking areas that might still have 150, 200,000 people.
Yeah.
But at most, there's maybe one person doing well.
Yeah.
And that's very easy to dethrone.
Yeah.
Now, I got lucky when I sold. So it took me, between months 4 and 6 is when I became the top 3 to 5 rankings on every first page of Google for every result.
Not bad.
But I got lucky. So this is when Google Plus was launched.
Oh, yes.
And because now Google Plus, one think it's dead, but now
Google My Business.
Then it turned into personalized results.
Yep.
Whereas when Google Plus first launched, it showed up for everybody.
Yep.
So the only reason I did so well on Google Plus was when I came from the construction industry. I knew nothing about marketing, real estate outside of the construction side. I'm I want to rank on Google.
Yep.
So I'm just going to use the Google-owned platform, which is Google Blogger.
Yeah.
That was my entire reasoning. Now, at the time...
the same argument could be said about using YouTube.
Yeah. But at the time, because they're trying to push Google Plus, if you ever posted anything on a blogger site, it automatically became a Google Plus post without doing anything.
Nice.
And I had someone message me one time being how are you so good at Google Plus? And I'm what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
I've never... And I go and look at my Google Plus profile, and I have 37 subscribers, but over 100,000 views.
Yep.
But it was because every Google Plus post, and they'd be up on the first page within 15 minutes of me posting it.
Yep.
So at the time, it blew mine up of all these views coming in.
Then they merged with Google Places, and now
Yeah.
it's Google Business, and
Yeah, that trick wouldn't work
nonsense.
for anyone
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, it's long gone,
But it's so easy to rank for local things.
yeah.
do you
Yes
do-
and no. I mean, so like here in Minneapolis, in Minneapolis, St. Paul market, we have about 18,000 agents. It's very competitive. Like we're in Maple Grove right now, and there's at least 300 agents in this city alone, and there's not maybe like 1,000 sales or something. So not a ton of sales. I mean, the 80-20 rule is very.
But how many
black
are
and white, but-
actively putting out content and doing like good SEO for Maple Grove of that 300? 10?
There's maybe 10 of, no, not even 5 of us. I mean, like, I can count on 2 hands for sure. In the entire Twin
Yeah.
Cities, who are the players and I can tell you exactly what they're doing, and it's very, definitely, they're all copying each other, of course.
Yeah.
It's kind of entertaining, but, as far as organic play, there's only those. When we get into pay-per-click, there's just a long
That's
list of
very
just
different, yeah.
people that have no idea what
But
they're doing.
organic was where the real money is.
And bidding costs up, of course,
Yeah.
too. Which is in general, like everyone knows an agent, so like that can be challenging. So
Yeah.
I would welcome a market where there are less agents.
Well, so like
Be okay
Toronto
with
Real
that.
Estate Board, as an example, is the largest in the world. Like there's over 50,000 agents for Toronto.
Yeah,
So we've now started doing it. We've tested it with our company, but we're also testing it for like clients on specific things. One that we found has been a really interesting one. So you take your phone number and you create a page around your phone number.
okay.
Because think about what happens if someone calls you and you don't have it in your phone. What do? You pick up Google and you
Google it,
Google
yeah.
the phone number. So now we try to set up pages that are about the phone number, being like, did you just try calling this number?
Smart.
That was me. Because if you Google a number and
Yeah,
one of the
it's-
first 3 results is, did you just call this? That was me. You're clicking on that post.
Yeah.
Then it goes there and we embed Calendly on the page.
Oh, smart.
So we're doing like, we're trying to think of those little ways to like, what are those almost like micro searches that people might
Yep.
do that are so easy to rank for?
Yeah.
So I actually got it from an idea from this guy named Saul Orwell. So he runs examine.com, which is basically like it's a health-based site, but they like examine like an example, like they'll deep dive into keto and be like, does keto actually work? And basically the overall like on that one would be like, well, sure, it works because it's calories in, calories out. Like it's,
That seems,
I mean, it's like any other diet.
seems like
right?
basic
Like,
science.
yeah, like it's not that it works better than if you just eat healthy and exercise,
Yeah.
right? Like it's just if you stick to it, it works. But they dive deep into the
So I
science
shouldn't
and
just
like
drink beer and eat burritos all day.
you can as long as you're under the calorie amount if you're trying to lose weight.
Ooh. You mean I have to work out? Oh,
No,
dear.
this means you have to eat less then. Because exercising burns more calories,
I
gives
get
you
it.
more to drink.
We've got a guy on our team that goes through every diet fad, and it's
Yeah.
funny because we'll go to lunch and he's like, "Yeah, no, I can't have bread," but then you see him just like pile
Yeah.
on all this other stuff and order those side items. It's like, you
I'd
know what
feel
I
like
think that you should do here is eat
Yeah.
less and then exercise.
I had a
more.
buddy of mine who,
I'm
at
a
the
bad
time,
example,
was
but-
probably plus 300 pounds. Like, he would only ever tell us he was over 300. My guess was about 350. And he's like, all right, guys, I'm going on a diet. No carbs.
Yeah.
But then he'd come downstairs just eating a block of salami. And you're like, that is a big block of salami. Like, you're not losing any weight doing
It just
that.
makes sense.
But, so back to Saul. So he, as an experiment, decided to rank for who's the most handsome guy in Toronto. So if you Google who's the most handsome guy in Toronto, he will come up as the top choice.
Nice, with photos and everything.
Oh yeah, photos, description, and then like here's why I did this. But basically, like as soon as I saw him do that, so he took like I don't know how often people Google who's the most handsome guy in Toronto. It can't be that much.
No.
I on the male side, I have never once in my life
Yeah.
Googled who's the best looking woman in anywhere ever.
Yeah.
Like I've never Googled that. But it gave me that idea of what are those 1 or 2 searches a month
Yeah.
that people Google a lot that I could capitalize on.
Yeah. That's
So, like, the other
concept
one
of
he
the
did-
long tail.
Is he did Saul Orwell net worth, is he created a page for that. So like, because people were Googling it. So if you go to Solo World Net Worth, it goes to a page where it's like, it's none of your damn business. But it's the top result.
Yeah.
So now I've been like, all right, what are the different like micro searches I can do? And then how can I make the page good for conversions?
Makes
And
sense.
like showing personality.
Yeah.
So we've been having like fun, that's a really fun brainstorm to do.
Yeah.
Of like, what are those random searches that we can do it with?
And fun party trick too.
Yeah.
You know, like you said before with Yelp, like, oh well, let me prove it. Ask Siri right now who's the best, and just make sure that before you ask that question, you already know that it's going to be you that comes
helps.
out. Otherwise, that's just awkward.
Yeah. It's my competitor.
I think Alexa over there would tell us who the. Well, let's try it. Alexa, who's the best real estate agent in Maple Grove?
I don't know that one.
Ah, well, she's stupid.
Hey Siri. I gotta turn on my phone.
That's not a name I can respond to.
Oh,
Ouch.
snap! Battle of the robots.
Hey Siri. Who's the best agent in Maple Grove?
Minnesota.
Okay, I found this on the web for who is the best agent in Maple Grove. Check it out.
Realtor.com, Zillow, Angie's List,
Yeah, so it's not.
US News,
It's not pulled from Yelp.
mnpropertygroup.com. Do you know what that is?
Oh my God, competitors. So it doesn't pull from Yelp anymore then.
No, so you are not considered so this is just straight Google results, it looks like. So mnpropertygroup.com is still Remix results.
With our
There you
company,
go.
he's a good guy.
You want us to cut this out of the episode? So you
No,
don't...
that's all right. This is why, again, you test these things out of time. But so Siri must not pull from Yelp anymore.
Because nobody uses Yelp or
Yeah,
likes
touche.
Yelp.
Fair enough.
Yelp is
Party
crap.
trick ruined.
Yeah, you need a new one.
Good thing I removed that from my thing
Yeah.
on stage, so I don't use it anymore.
So you need a new party trick.
yeah.
Which could be the like easy SEO one.
Yeah.
So you gotta think of like what
Alexa,
is that?
Is there like Alexa used to pull from Yelp.
I don't know. It
I
pulls
don't
from,
know
but-
why she's not now.
So I know in
It's
Canada,
embarrassing me.
if you go like Alexa open real estate, it was a good friend of mine who had that one.
Oh, smart. What is she
Let's
doing?
be friends. Please tell me your 10-digit phone number so I can send you a link that will connect us.
She's so
You
creepy.
can also use your Alexa app,
I
but
told
the
you.
text is easier. What is your phone number?
905-758-9091. Which of your competitors is gonna call me?
905-758-9091. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thanks. The text is on the way.
Sweet. We're gonna find out who in your area has Alexa for real estate.
I didn't even
Cool.
know this was a thing. This is a fun experiment.
Hey, this is real estate skill on Alexa. Please send me your email so I can send you results. Oh, I'm totally doing this. We're gonna find out in real time who's the Alexa king
this is
for
legit.
Minnesota.
I'm telling you, it's not me. So that's embarrassing.
Thank you. Your account is now linked. We're gonna find out.
Somebody just emailed you too. It's
Yeah, I need to
instantaneous.
check. How long does it happen? How long till this email comes in? Updated 2 minutes ago. Update now. Come on now. Just now. Nothing yet. Rookie mistake on their part. It's got to be instant. So whoever this is,
Maybe
up your game.
Maybe there isn't someone. Maybe there's an opportunity. We'll see.
Well, you need to start searching now. I'll connect you with my buddy. He has
All
a company
right.
that does this stuff.
Fair enough. See, this real estate, the technology stuff, it changes so fast.
Yeah.
It's so hard to keep on top of things.
So we haven't gotten anything yet, but I can't imagine this is a very popular search because no one's going like, "Hey Alexa, find me a house."
They might.
I couldn't find any house.
She can't even find houses.
Not one.
You gotta use a real estate agent.
Do you know what would be great data? Is be able to see what people search locally on Alexa.
That would be very interesting.
Alexa,
Also creepy.
what do people search for in Minneapolis?
She doesn't know.
Sorry, what was that?
What do people search for in Minneapolis?
Here's something I found on Wikipedia.
That's not helpful.
Minneapolis is the county seat of Hennepin County and the largest.
She's not
Alexa.
that smart.
The 16th
Alexa,
largest metropolitan.
Stop.
So it's not a perfect system.
We find that we yell at her a lot in this house. So we have
So-
I was showing Andrew earlier how we got the blinds are set up, there's smart blinds and smart lights and all this fun stuff, thermostat, fan.
So do they
I've done
like,
a
if I
couple-
just go, Alexa, turn off the lights in the kitchen? Does it work?
Can't tell her to say that. Oh, it worked.
Done.
Good for you. Normally, it's very much like follow the command, like Alexa, turn on kitchen lights.
Okay.
We're back.
Boom. Yeah. Now we have all that fun stuff set up.
Yeah.
It's
So I'm setting up in my house with the smart tech of like the lights, like every individual light. So it's like individual plugs that each individual plug can be connected. So I can turn anything, whether it's technically connected or not. But actually, so here's just one. So from like the back to the real estate side,
Yeah.
how much do you look at smart technology when selling homes? So as a little example, like
good.
it has to be like, you have to know like certain things, like they have to reset the factory settings so the new homeowner can take it over.
Yeah, so I've written 3 articles so far for NAR, Realtor Magazine, about smart home. Ooh, is this a person calling?
This is my
you?
wife face. Oh, hold on. This actually might be my daughters
darn.
before they go to bed, so we might quickly do it. Hey.
In the articles, we kind of talk about like the best technology for like your bedroom, for your kitchen, and then some of like what to know when selling a house that has smart technology, because like obviously the personal property doesn't convey, so a lot of times like the hub that's controlling things, it will go. But things like our switch here behind me, that's hardwired in, so that's now a fixture.
Yeah.
So that's going to stay. And all this smart technology runs off of, the router and requires internet to work. And so there's like the setup. And so being the agent that's knowledgeable to help the new buyer get set up is a benefit. And then, when you're selling, like kind of explaining how these things work. Like, okay, well, I'm going to sell this house and you're going to get these things, but like to make it work, you have to buy this and that.
Well, it's interesting when, like, I know when I bought our house, like, we said, okay, like, reset all the smart technology in the house. But they reset the thermometer, the Nest.
Yep.
So when we got the house in November in Canada, it was freezing. Because, like, they left, I think, the day before closing. We took it the day after. Because, like, we didn't get closed until, like, 6 p.m. So we came in the next day. It was, like, you had to wear your coats. And it was freezing. So you got to be able to like know what the right language is in the contracts to like the house is like an easy deliver with all that tech in it.
And then even with like a simple like Ring doorbell, you have to realize that device is recording well before you ever got anywhere near it. So like mine, I can hear people before they like right when they get out of their car. So if they're saying something about our house or about us on their way out before they ever rang the doorbell, or even if they don't ring the doorbell, or still it's recording. And so local laws, what has to be disclosed around
What
that.
are laws here around recording like showings?
Yep. So you have to disclose audio recording, I believe, and I think that's about it.
So interestingly, in Canada, you don't. So the only thing is, because you're in someone else's home, there's no reasonable expectation of privacy in someone else's home. So, and Canada in general is a one-party recording thing. So as long as one party knows about the recording, the other doesn't need to.
That's how it is for phone calls here.
Yeah, so that translates to that. The only place in showings is you can't record the bathroom. Because no matter what, there's always a reasonable expectation of privacy in a bathroom.
Yeah.
So it's interesting of like showings can be completely recorded minus the bathroom.
The gray area that we run into as well is that like if you have like a baby monitor or something, and you're not recording it, but you're watching it live.
Yeah.
Technically, you're not recording. So I just tell buyers to be very like aware of these things when we're in homes and to just be respectful. And
well, even 5 years
obviously
ago,
not.
I used to say that like to my clients when I was selling, which is now more like 6 years, was like, if you're in a home, just assume they're listening.
Yeah.
Don't say anything you wouldn't want them to know.
Yep. That could be a good life lesson in general, but
always assume they're watching. Somebody is Zuckerberg,
right? So right now I have a client that's buying a home, and it's just got tons of tech features in it. And they were recording every room, and it was very awkward, honestly, when we were there. I don't know what industry these people are in, but every room had multiple cameras, and so it was like, oh, weird. Yeah. But just like prepping the buyers ahead of time and letting them know, like, okay, that stuff, like, they're going to take that with. They're not fixtures. And being knowledgeable about, like, the different software and how it works, I think really helped in that situation. And then I've got a seller, similar situation. They've got a bunch of smart tech, and then, some of that they'll be bringing with them, like their wireless, their routers, their hubs, and then my point to him was that, like, so he's got the hue lighting underneath the cabinets and in the crown molding, and he spent about $450 to put that in. His argument was that, well, it's not going to work without the hub, so I'm going to take it with me because it's mine. It's worthless to them. My point was that, like, that was a feature of the home when they viewed it, and so we need to, like, have that conversation with them. Yeah. Like, are you going to blow up this deal over the track lighting? Like, they'll have to buy the hub, but the hub is $40. You're saying this. Yeah,
at that point, as the agent, I feel like you just buy it and be the hero.
If it came down to it, I certainly would have. But I think it's important to just, disclose ahead of time, like, hey, here's what's in the house, here's how it functions, here's what's going to be left behind if you want it, you're interested, here's what you would need to purchase. When I sold my townhouse, I had just, like, the switches, and then, like, thermostat and the Alexa devices. So I just let them know, like, yeah, you need to get a new Echo. Yeah. I left the thermostat. That's a fixture. The switches are all hardwired in, and so I explained, like, how to program them. And for them, like, the people that bought it, I think they liked it. It's a benefit, but, like, I think a lot of people are just, like, afraid of it, or, like, they don't understand it. So like, there's no value to them. Like, for me, like, I won't buy another house that doesn't have full smart everything, just because I realized the advantages of, like, energy savings and just convenience, like, not having to get up. I like it. So, like, every house I buy, I'm going to put the stuff in. Yeah. What's interesting, though, with this house is that, like, so Lennar is the other builder that we went with, and they have a smart home package. Well, like, it didn't even make sense to do because, like, what they charge for some of the stuff, I was like, I could just get what you have and then pull it out and replace it.
But that's almost like every builder option in any new development. Yeah. It's always cheaper to do it yourself.
Yeah. And some of the stuff that, like, D.R. Horton is another builder around here, but, like, the smart tech they're putting in houses requires a subscription. So it's like, well, yeah, that's a sweet little iPad thing you have at your entrance, but, like, if you stop paying it, it's worthless. Yeah. So, like, at least with this stuff, there's no subscription to it.
Yeah, it's like my car. I got a new car recently, and one of the cool features is you can start it from your phone.
Yep.
Except I have to pay an extra $15 a month once you get it to just be able to turn it on from my phone. I'm like, not worth it.
Yeah.
This is more just an annoyance of, like, you're touting it as a feature, but then fine print, oh, by the way, it's extra money.
Yeah. One of the cool things that I've seen recently is kind of, like, getting more into the energy efficient side of things. And so, like, looking at smart tech as, like, something that's going to save you money. Starting with, like, your thermostats, and then kind of expands to, like, your shades and your lights, and going from there. We actually, in this house, we have an energy meter. And so, like, when the lights are on, when certain appliances are going, and we can really measure the efficiency, which I think is really cool. And so if I go to sell, I can, like, share that data and say, hey, like,
here's where we are.
Here's, like, the value, and, like, like, this is south facing, so, like, someday I want to get just solar panels and stuff as well, because I get free power, and then get once electric cars really gains traction here, like, I think, like, almost everyone will have one. That'll be a huge benefit to be able to say, like, oh yeah, we can charge it out there, it's free power. Kind of interesting to think of. But even just efficiency overall, like new construction, like our utility bills here, this house is 4 times the size of our previous house, but our utility bills are the same. So like everyone's like, well, how are you going to heat and cool a house that size? I was like, well,
and it's pretty like, so obviously you guys can't see it, but like it's a pretty open house, so it'd be a little bit more expensive than like the individual rooms of like a old traditional style home. Like this is a very open space.
Yeah, so but even like capturing that data and then having that like in MLSs, I think it is going to be huge going forward. You know, really show the value difference between something that's newer versus older, because it gets into that cost of living.
Well, it's interesting if the change will come to real estate. It's like my brother is in car sales and has been like his entire life. Mm-hmm. And he says now the biggest switch he's noticed is they no longer sell the car, they sell the technology in the car. It'll be interesting to see how much of that bleeds into real estate when like home tech becomes bigger.
Yeah.
Because like right now, no one's really buying a house for the tech in it.
No.
And I don't think that'll ever be the primary, because like location matters so much.
Yeah.
But you got to assume like after like location and probably like the yard and the kitchen, tech will come up there once it's like a bigger thing.
With building is that you can just ground up.
Yeah.
I would say if you're ever building a house, to wire the shit out of inside of it, because it costs almost nothing to wire. Like I did Cat 6 throughout. It costs almost nothing to do that because you're going from frame. Whereas if you try to do that later, it'll cost so much money.
Yeah.
So like just thinking ahead, I was like, oh. And then putting higher voltage in your garage for anticipating the need for a charging station in the future.
Yeah.
Seems to be a worthwhile investment. Because again, when you do it during the build, it costs like $500. But if you wanted to run that wire later, now you gotta like go through walls and add it.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost a lot more. So I'm thinking proactively about that.
Yeah. And I'm actually excited to watch how that changes what agents focus on. Because like I even know like, especially because like generally agents are like 58 plus is like the average. I think the average age is like 57 for agents.
Yeah, I think so.
And a lot of them are not that tech savvy. Of like when that transition happens, so like so much of like selling home is the features of the tech side of it.
Yeah.
Because like even like your blinds here are a selling feature for some people.
Yeah.
It's interesting
For the right person.
Yeah, but eventually that'll become every person.
Yeah.
Eventually, is that 3 years away or 10 years, 20 years? I don't know.
Lennar being in the U.S. the largest national builder, I mean it's becoming standard for their properties, and even so there's some villas just right down the road from us that kind of caters to an older demographic that doesn't want to do any maintenance, and those houses have standard Ring doorbell, Wi-Fi throughout, smart switches, and then the shades and blinds and stuff are optional, but they're like including like the Alexa in that, and then that includes like setup too, and so making it just super easy for them, just turnkey white glove type situation. Nice. I think with the older people as well, they can get a lot of use out of that. I mean, it's like
they just have to like
modern day
like really all you need to do is train them on like knowing what to like. They can even ask Alexa like what can it do for me?
Yeah, and get over I would say privacy concerns. And
that is always
there's always going to be those people.
Yeah,
is what it is.
Yeah.
So
if people wanted to first, if you want to buy your book, where do they go?
Yeah, so Amazon or Audible is obviously.
Are you on Amazon.ca? Because it's different.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Mindset, Methods, and Metrics, Real Estate Marketing Playbook. You have other ones. What are they?
So there's a companion workbook that goes with our first book. And so it's great for business planning. We just kind of sell it as a workbook separately. These two are very popular on Audible. And then the book that I've already written, I just haven't published it yet. Current working title is Success Rate. Should be out this fall.
We'll post about it because I assume it'll be good because this stuff normally is. So we'll post about it. Stay tuned.
I'd like to think it'll be my best book ever. Yet.
It'll be the best book he's ever written.
Yeah, no.
So if people want to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
Yeah, so really easy to find on Facebook, just Brandon Doyle. Otherwise, bdoyleconsulting.com. There's not really a lot there, to be honest. There's some videos of me speaking and some speaking topics that I can do. It's not really a huge focus of mine, but certainly open to coming out to your office association, talking about technology. I really dive deep into the analytics and numbers behind things. So I do a lot with profit and loss statements and measuring what works in marketing. I open my books up when I'm on stage and kind of work through things in real time, and that's fun for me. It's not my day job by any means, so it's kind of something I do for fun. So if you're in a nice warm area, you'll probably move higher up on the list. Also, come winter time when it's cold here in Minnesota, I become more motivated to do more speaking engagements. But
hey, that's my same motivation too.
Right,
Get out of Canada.
Exactly. I do the Explode conference. That's been very rewarding. I don't really sell anything other than maybe some books when I'm there, but it's been fun to get out and go see more parts of the country. It's a great group of speakers that go to those events. If you haven't checked one out,
So I think when this airs, the next one will be Charleston. So by the time, tomorrow's Minneapolis, then El Paso's next week.
Okay.
But by the time this airs, Charleston will be the next one.
Okay.
So
I'm thinking about
Charleston.
going to that one.
I'm not
Maybe.
going. Actually, so I'm debating. So it's the 16th of July. My daughter's first birthday is the 17th.
Okay.
So if I can get a flight out on the 16th at
That might be
night,
tough.
then I'll come home. If I can't, then I'm not going because the first birthday trumps the Explode conference for me.
Yeah. I've never been to Charleston, so I think it'd
I
be
have.
fun.
I've driven through, I think, when I was young, but essentially I've never
Yeah.
been. But no, it still doesn't. It could be the best place in the world. It's first birthday trumps
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
any conference
As
ever.
as it should.
Yeah.
As it should.
So as Gary Vee, so this is actually, so Gary Vee came and spoke in Toronto to the Toronto Real Estate Board recently. At the end of the conference, he's like, all right, guys, I'd love to stay, but it's my daughter's birthday, so fuck you guys, I'm out. And then he left. And I was like, respect. So you used to, you follow Gary Vee?
I mean, a little bit. I used to more. Now it seems like it's kind of the same
Repetitive
content, just regurgitated, hustle.
I almost didn't go here and
yada.
speak because of that. I'm like, I've heard everything he has to say, and nothing's new. Oh, the battery's almost dead. Did we lose it? Almost. So that's it for this episode because the battery's just about to die.